Welcome, everyone, to this edition of City Chat with City Magazine. My name's Kilee, Harmon, and I'm General Manager of City Magazine. And today, we are visiting with a familiar face, Pat Koski, a realtor with Trademark Realty. Say hello to everybody.
Hey, guys.
You were on City Chat one more time earlier, prior to us going to a TV show.
Yeah.
You're in just a radio show, and I think it was last year, and since we spoke then, the market has changed, hasn't it?
Lots of things have been different, that's for sure.
Okay. Well, before we get into everything, let's talk, how did you get involved with the home industry and realty, for example?
Well, before I even became into the Bismarck area real estate, in college, what I did is I had a franchise that we painted houses throughout the Bismarck Mandan area. I was down in Minneapolis. I was down in Denver. It was a franchise is what I had, and I started getting involved with the exterior of the real estate and the home ownership, and just kind of seeing how that all worked and everything like that, and in dealing with different homeowners. And the main reason they were always painting because they were always trying to get the house ready to get up for sale, and this, that, and the other thing, and upkeep and whatnot. So I kind of developed an interest while I was in college for that. But even before that, I had worked for one of the major developers here in town when a major development started going up, and I was kind of his right-hand man at the time. During the summer, we were doing different things as far as whether I was running the tractor or lumber truck, getting things ready, site maps for him, just a bunch of different things in that real estate aspect, everything from development to putting the nail into the wood, I guess, if you will. So I saw that aspect, and I also saw the homeowner aspect, and it's something that I always kind of liked. And going to school, you kind of have to put it on the back burner a little bit just to get the degree, and then get out and get the real world job. So after college, what I did is I actually was approached by one of the builders here in town to be an in-house salesman for them. So then during that period, right after college, I was hired right after that, and worked for them for about three and a half years selling new construction homes in town. So a little history on how it all kind of came together, but it's kind of little steps that ended up kind of becoming my career.
So now, when did you become a realtor?
I've been an actual realtor, licensed realtor for about three and a half years, but I've been in the real estate industry for about 8. So
okay.
Yep.
So how has the Bismarck market changed from when you first got into the industry to now?
Bismarck's always been Bismarck Mandan in a sense too. Bismarck Mandan has been so steady ever since I've been in. We've took a little hit here and there, but our hits aren't major. They're, maybe you're not selling 5 or 10 homes a month as a company, but maybe you're selling 3 to 4. You're still selling, but it's always gradually just been very, very steady until this last year or year and a half, where all of a sudden it's just phenomenal. It's to the point where no one's ever seen it the way it's been lately, as far as that goes. So, I like to, call our market like, you compare it to, other markets in the industry, and ours is just like a 747. It's, it takes off very smooth, gets to cruising altitude, and just goes forever. Where, other parts of the country in their industry or in their markets are like little planes, up down, so that's kind of the best way to describe our market. It's very, very solid, very steady, so but now it's even crazier.
Okay, so now we had the flood here this year, obviously. Has that had a huge impact? Are a lot of people down south moving north, or is that kind of a myth that's going on?
That's a myth. During the flood, everybody's like, oh my God, we're putting the house up, just buy the house for $1. We're out of here. Let's go. It's time to go. We're moving up north. I don't never want to be down south. Well, lo and behold, all those people are still living in those homes down south. Besides, obviously, there's a few that, on the riverbanks and whatnot that did get a little flood, and they were in the floodplain, got a little water in the basement or in the house. I'm not going to say that no one got flooded down south, because that would be a lie. But you did get some flooding, but it wasn't this catastrophic event that it could have been, or a lot of people thought that was going to happen. The thing is, during that 3-day period, I remember it was just a lot of commotion, because the city's never been through this, the homeowners have never been through this, and no one knew what was going to happen. It was all speculation, and you speculate for the worst. Now you have people that are living in the South Side that want to stay in the South Side. You've got people coming in from out of town who've heard about the flood, and it doesn't seem to scare them because the North Bismarck and South Bismarck have two different distinct areas, and you can definitely feel it.
How so?
Up north you're gonna have a newer culture. You have newer schools. You're on the rolling plains, if you will. Down south, you're a little bit more established. You have the trees, and it's a little bit more quaint. And it's more established, and you just have two different buyers. Some people like new construction, the newer stuff, and some people like things that are a little older and a little bit different character to the homes, and more established neighborhoods with yards and trees and protection and all that. So it really just all depends per buyer. I can't say 90% of the buyers are always going north and 90% of the buyers aren't going south. It really isn't that way. It's just you don't know what they're going to want when they come to the table.
Okay. So you said it's going off like crazy this year. So then what's the cause? What type of buyer are you seeing? Where are they coming from?
Man, it's a bunch of different things. It's the interest rates. It's people being able to...
Where are they at right now, by the way, from the time of taking?
It all depends. Check with your banker, but depending if you're doing a 15 or a 30-year, you bounce anywhere from in the 3% to the mid 4%. So
wow, that's still wonderful.
That's like student loan rates.
It's better than a student. My student loan rate is 5.75.
Exactly,
and that's mixed.
And we thought that was great coming out of college. Now you can get a house for the same amount. So what you're seeing is people are going up to that next level. Because of the interest rates, and you're also seeing people coming in from all over the country. I'm working with some people from Boston. I've also worked with people from Arizona, California, Nevada, South Dakota, Minnesota, Montana, and everybody's coming here because it's the only place that they can find a job. And yes, it has to do with a lot has to do with the oil country as well, but the other thing is too, not only that, out in the western part of the state, you also have a lot of jobs here that people just have been sitting around for 6 months doing the application process, not hearing back, and they say, you know what, forget it. Let's pack up. Let's move to North Dakota and start over in a sense. So you're seeing a lot of that. Yes, you're seeing a lot of the cash. There's a lot of cash in the system from the oil, from all these overnight millionaires who just kind of want to get out of the hustle and bustle.
So get out of the Williston area, the western part of North Dakota.
Who've lived there for their whole life, and it's been kind of a quiet western town, and now it's just crazy full of semi trucks and cars, and cafes are packed, and
strippers that can make $2,000 a night.
Yeah, and that too, absolutely.
Oh my God.
And you're seeing a different world in western North Dakota. It's good and bad. It's great for the economy, but it's changing the landscape. So what you're seeing is these people say, you know what, it's been great. We got mineral rights, or we've got a payout, or we've sold land, or my dealership is doing amazing because we're selling so many cars, but we're getting out and we're going to come to Bismarck, where we're still in North Dakota, where we're still close enough, but we're just out of that hustle and bustle. So you're seeing a lot of that, and you're seeing a lot of cash in the system too because of that. And so you're also seeing a lot of more prices that are being more stable across the board as well in town. So it's very interesting.
So what price ranges for the homes that are selling are really hard to see on the market because they're just going so fast? What price range?
Everything.
Oh, geez, great.
Even the $1 million listings and to the first time home buyer listings, if the house is good and if it's quality and it's if it's something that can be lived in, it's gone within a week or so. I mean, I've never seen anything. It used to be where you saw a house that was listed at 400 plus, and you'd see a couple of those a year, and a couple of them would sell. But I've never seen it just go one after another, just bam, bam, bam. 400,000 to $1 million, and then the really tough part right now that we're really having a hard time with is the 200 to 300 range.
Really?
There seems to be a bubble, and that's in Bismarck dual income. That's a really good sized house. It's affordable. You usually find those houses, and you can get them in newer developments, but sometimes you have to go to a little bit more of established development. It's just a good mortgage payment. It's comfortable for what you get for that.
And it's usually like the second time home buyer. It seems like
for the most part, yeah. It's usually your second move, and you're seeing people getting out of the first time home buyers homes because you have so much equity, and it is a great seller's market, so they can pull that equity, put it as a down payment, and relatively keep their payment the same in that $200,000 to $300,000 house. So what we're seeing is we got a lot of first time buyer homes, and then we're missing a bubble between 2 and 300.
Okay.
But the real demand is between that 2 and 300 right now. It feels like so.
Okay, so if you're thinking of listing, List now.
Yeah, list now, absolutely. And a lot of people go, well, if it's such a seller's market, why would we want to buy right now?
That's what I was just thinking to myself.
It's like, well, if we're a buyer listening, why would we want to buy? This doesn't make any sense. The sellers are making all the money, and but here's the thing. You, as a buyer, are able to get into a home that you probably wouldn't be able to afford maybe 2-3 years ago because the interest rates are so different. Mm-hmm. So you lower the interest rates from 6.5 to 4.5. That's really good for the buyers, and now you're saving a couple $100 a month. So now you can even get into a larger home
than what you normally would.
And it works good. It works good for the buyer because you're getting more house for your money, and then it works good for the sellers because they're able to kind of keep at the price that they want, which is fair. Which is fair in a market price. When all of us realtors go out, we do what's called a market analysis to make sure that your house is priced right. And then the appraisers, when we get a contract on it, will double check to make sure that we're not out of line or anything. So,
okay.
Buyer don't beware on that, I guess, if you will. So it's good for buyers, it's good for sellers, it's good for everybody. So
now what is your favorite type of home to sell?
Oh, man. It's a tough question because it really all depends on the price range. Every price range is going to offer something unique. And I really like houses that have a lot of character and have a lot of buzz going on. And I think any real estate agent would agree with me.
And when you say buzz, what do you mean by that?
Some unique features. Custom showers that you probably wouldn't expect in a home, or maybe like a hot tub room, or something very unique about the house that no other house in Bismarck's going to have. Obviously I think that's kind of a given, but they're very rare sometimes. And so when you get those, you get excited. So
what has been your most favorite unique feature that you've seen in all the homes you've been through?
Oh, man, I've been through a lot of homes. I've seen everything from indoor pools, indoor basketball courts.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's
you wouldn't think that.
You wouldn't think that here, but there is. And there's some new construction going up now too that that's going to change the game a little bit as well. But you're starting to see a lot of TVs and showers with surround system in the showers.
Oh, geez.
Steam showers. You're seeing movie theaters. Movie theaters kind of becoming the standard in the houses that are over 300,000. If you don't have a movie theater, well, what are you doing building a house? That kind of seems to be the standard. In the wet bar and the entertainment, you're seeing a lot of people geared towards keeping the family home, and whether you're using the bar for entertainment or for your kids, for pizzas and all that, you're seeing a lot of that. So when you go on the parade or if you go through some of the homes, you're going to see a lot of that become standard in the industry these days, because it's become more affordable to do those audio, video, rooms and whatnot. So. And
people, everything always congregates around food. So if you have a little wet bar downstairs, that always helps too. So
food and drinks, and then in the wintertime,
fireplaces,
absolutely. Gas fireplaces, you start to see a lot, very common in the master, and then now you're starting to see them creep into the master bathrooms now a little bit.
I would
too.
Like that. I would like that master bathroom. I like the idea of having where the wall between the master bathroom and the bedroom is the fireplace.
Yeah,
I think that's so cool.
And you see that quite a bit in new construction too. Yep. So. Yeah, and it just really all depends on your budget on what you can and can't do. And, there's just a lot of unique things out there, a lot of unique styles.
We're building a lot, and you see a lot northeast and northwest. Is that where all of the new construction is going, or are we going to head southeast at all, or what are you seeing?
It's a good question. A lot of people ask, what's going on with that? We can only go so far south, then we run into the riverbank. So that you got to, if you drive down to the end of Washington Street, there the river is. So in turn, we got to flip around and then head back up north. But it really all depends on the buyer of what they're looking for. If you're looking for unique property, south is going to have that with all the water developments. And I'm a big advocate of the south. I like the water. I grew up on the water. The boats, the marinas. It's got such a unique lifestyle here that when people come in from out of state, they go, "Wow, I would have never thought this would be here in the middle in Bismarck or the middle of the prairie."
Because we're landlocked.
We're landlocked, and to see that we have almost 1,500 boat slips in town and all that stuff, and if you flew in from the airport and just drive from the airport to the hotel and then out with your realtor, you're not going to see that the first day you're here until you really start to explore the city. So. a lot of people that come in from out of town are drawn to those areas. Now, the other sense is you have those other buyers who like the north side because it's newer. You have the newer
hills.
The hills, newer developments. You also have newer schools, newer shops, restaurants, all that kind of stuff. You know, we got so much prairie land up north, we can just kind of expand as we will. You know, where the south is very unique and it has more of a niche to it, you know, like with South Bay and Whispering Bay and Marina Bay and Lakewood and, you know, all that stuff, and Southport especially. So, yeah.
So now, do you do a lot of selling in the Mandan area too?
Yeah, I do. I'm not just Bismarck. It's a lot of Mandan.
What are you seeing happening over there?
Man, you know, the Lakewood area has just been a phenomenal development. And it really, during the flood, it really put people's eyes on it because it withstood a lot of things that everybody didn't think that it could. And, you know, you see a lot of value down in Lakewood. You see a very, very unique development for the state, you know, and if you go anywhere in the state, Fargo, Grand Forks, Dickinson, wherever, Minot, I would say Lakewood is one of your very most unique properties that you'd find. So, you know, as far as Mandan goes, they did a good job with that. The other thing with Mandan too is you're able to find a newer home at a very affordable price in Mandan. That's the draw to Mandan. Is you can get into a home that's fairly new within 5 years for under $200,000.
Okay.
And that's kind of the draw for a lot of first-time home buyers. So, you know, they go to Mandan, you know, and get into that starter home, and you're able to get quite a bit square footage for your dollar over there too. And they've got really good schools as far as, you know, the Fort Lincoln Elementary School area has just been phenomenal as well. So, and then up by the Seven Seas is another new area. Mandan is good. It's the land value compared to Bismarck is a little bit less, and that's what puts them ahead in their house price. So,
but then they get it on the back end with the taxes, though, correct?
Yes and no.
Okay.
You know,
dispel that.
There's always this big myth that Mandan taxes are
super
my God,
high,
$100,000 more,
Yeah.
$100,000 more a year to Mandan. Don't live in Mandan. Well, it's not the truth. And actually, Mandan, you know, has a 2-year tax exemption for new construction up to $75,000. So to put it in layman's term, if you buy a new house in Mandan, it saves you about $1,500 a year in taxes for the first 2 years.
Okay.
And then
so
after
about $3,000.
Yep. And then after that, you go to your assessed value. So the biggest thing is, you know, Mandan is about 2.2% of your property value for tax rate.
Okay.
Bismarck's about 2, right around 2. But the other thing that people don't realize is it all depends on what your house is assessed for.
Meaning,
let's say I have a house in Mandan for $180,000.
Okay.
And it would take $200,000 to build that in Bismarck. If I'm at 2.2% at 180 and 2% at 200, it comes out to be about the same.
Okay.
So you have to keep that in mind. You really got to just, when you're out there with your realtor, just go through all those details and say, which is really a better buy for me at this point in my life.
And don't be afraid to look in Mandan if you are.
If
you're like, don't always just be set on Bismarck because you never know what type of gem you might find.
Absolutely.
I guess I never thought about that before.
Absolutely. And there's there's always this myth that there's always high specials and all this crazy stuff going on in Mandan. It's not the case. You know, it really isn't. So that's something you want to definitely look in. Don't write it off. You know, definitely give it a chance while you're out looking. You know, I always tell people to. Any place that you live in Bismarck, Mandan, it's always a 10 or 15 minute drive, no matter what.
Okay.
You know, we don't.
That's true, and it's true.
You know,
it's true.
We live in a very tight knit, you know, community as far as roads and access to places, but you know, it's not like our friends in Minneapolis where, you know, if they want to go to work, it's a 45-minute drive. We always got to kind of keep that in mind, that 10 or 15 minutes, whether we live way on the north side with coming down Washington Street and hitting all the red lights and all the traffic in the morning at 7, 8 o'clock.
It can take about 15 minutes, but that's okay.
Exactly. Or if you take the interstate over from Mandan, it's going to take about the same. So, you know, time yourself. I always tell people, you know, go way up north, up by Furniture Row, and time yourself to see how long it gets down to the mall, and then go to the Mandan development, see how long it gets to the mall in the south, and say, you know, what does this commute time really mean for me if you're dropping kids off at school and all that kind of stuff. So really check it out, you know. So
okay, so now going to the people that are looking at building a home.
Mm-hmm.
How do they, like, when it comes to lots, like, how do they find the lots and, you know, where they would want to build, or what are the steps?
You know, the steps is if you're working with the realtor, and here's the thing. A lot of people think that if I work with the realtor, my price is going to go up through the roof because we got to pay realtor fees. Well, it's not the case.
Okay.
And here's why. a lot of realtors in town, including myself, represent between 3 and 5 home builders and developers. So we have established relationships where we do volume a lot throughout the year. And when you buy, meaning that lots of customers will use myself or whomever to buy property, and they're wondering, where should we buy? Okay. And I'll direct them to where I think a good fit would be for those people. Well, over time or over the course of the year, I've happened to maybe direct 10, 15, 20, people to this developer or to this builder, to where I've established a relationship with these people to where we can do, throw in some incentives, because I'm always bringing them,
bringing them up there,
bringing people and doing different things, and maybe we can do this and that and the other thing to get the deal done. Where if it's just one-on-one, you're not usually going to get the best deal out of that, because you don't have that established relationship. Maybe towards the end of if you build with go through the building process and you build with that builder, you're going to have that relationship. But up front, first meeting them, that's the other thing. So you're saying to get a realtor first before even talking to a builder? Right, absolutely. And the reason I say that too is with a realtor, you're going to be able to look at everything, whether it's listed on MLS or if it's not. The other thing is, a realtor is going to be able to tell you what's a better fit for your family, your lifestyle, what you're looking for. There might be a really nice area in town, but it might not be the right fit for you for what you're looking for. If it's something that it's temporary, maybe you want to go this way. If it's more long term, maybe you want to go this way. So you always got to look at that, and the realtor is going to help you out with that 100%. And like I said, most of the full-time realtors in town have established relationships with the developers and the builders, and there's, the cost isn't going to go up. The builders are going to pay regardless, no matter if they're going to pay themselves, or if they're going to pay a realtor. The cost is built in. So, yep, it doesn't go on top. The myth is it goes on top, whatever the builder cost is. If I bypass my realtor, I'll save 10 or 15 grand. It's not the case.
Well, that's good to know too. That's another good myth to dispel. Okay, so now with this huge boom that we're seeing in the realtor market, are you seeing a lot of wannabe realtors come in?
Yeah.
Oh boy, there's a laugh and a smile, and I'm sure you're thinking of a few. We won't make you name names.
As of anything, when it's like when you go to the casino, if a table's hot or if a machine is hot, everybody wants to congregate around it, and when it cools off, everybody leaves. But the people who are consistent about it will stay in that table, knowing that it will come back. What I can say about that is really, if you're looking at using a realtor to either buy or sell, is, really interview that person and see if they are full-time, can they meet you in an hour if they need to, if a house has popped up in the market, because there's a lot of that going on right now where a house will come on the market, it'll have all of a sudden 25 showings in a day, and it'll have 3 offers within 4 or 5 hours it's on the market. Well, if your realtor still has his or her full-time job,
they're
good
not
luck.
Going to be able to get out.
Exactly. And as a listing or as a selling agent too, if you're a seller listening with a realtor, you want to make sure you have a full-time realtor who can be there for all those questions and answers or whatever they need to make an offer on that property. So, real estate is a very big industry. It deals with, a lot of money, as far as, people's homes and other
and their
things.
Hopes and dreams as well.
Hopes and dreams, a lot of, money. So I would suggest that you would just interview your realtor and make sure that him or her has the time to deal with all the craziness that's going on right now. And if they can't, maybe use them for something else in the future. But right now, I would definitely say, use a full-time realtor. Real quick, one more quick question. What are the top 3 things you can tell people that are looking to sell their home? What should they do? The top 3 things? Yes. Wow. Put me on the spot. I know, right? Hey, and you got a minute. The top 3 things, if they're looking at selling, cleanliness. It is by far the most important thing. And I always say, get a third party in there, because what you and I might think is clean, someone else might not. So hire Mary Maids or hire another company and just have them come in, take the stress off, and get that done. Okay. The second biggest thing, especially when there's no snow on the ground, is the exterior appearance. That's going to draw the people in regardless of the floor plan or not. It's going to spike interest. So, going along with the cleanliness, get the curb appeal up, and just really go through and find. I have to say one quick thing to that, because the townhouse I live in, the townhouse right next to us, they're selling their house, and she put out like a flower pot here and like a really cute little thing there, and I'm like,
wow, her side looks way better than mine. It was pretty funny.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I do that's a lot different is from the majority of my properties, I hire a professional photographer to come in.
Okay.
I can, on some of my properties and, lots and stuff, I can take it with my digital. But to really grab that attention from a lot of people, I'll hire a professional photographer. Their cameras and everything else, they know how to do an edit. Just turns out a lot better than what I can do with lighting and everything else. So those are kind of the big top threes. And then, you can always go down the list from there. So.
Okay, real quick, how can people get a hold of you if they're looking to buy or sell?
PatKoski.com. PatKoski.com is my website. Another easy way is my cell phone, 471-1331.
Awesome. Yep. Love it. Well, thank you very much for coming on this edition of City Chat with City Magazine. Really appreciate having you on here and telling us all about the market and all the myths that you dispelled, too. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
And everyone, thank you again for watching this edition of City Chat with the City Magazine. Make sure you head to our website at thecitymag.com where you can read the entire November issue and also watch past episodes of City Chat with City Magazine. Have a good day.